Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to be here for our Special Operations Force Industry Conference. Thanks, Mayor Buckhorn. Bob, as always, thanks for being our host, and thanks for the extraordinary support that this Greater Tampa area provides to the MacDill military community. You all absolutely sustain us to the nth degree. The mayor mentioned tomorrow will be his last official opportunity to play our hostage in the demonstration that'll go down. I think he relishes this job a little too much, and you'll see him take it out on the media, I think, as he comes back in armed with a 50 cal machine gun. Bob, this is your last official time to do this, but I've actually already put in an exception to policy to maybe bring you back on waivers next year. So just keep your powder dry. To my fellow flag and general officers, our partners from industry, academia, our federal and university affiliated research labs, welcome to the 2017 Special Operations Forces Industry Conference here in Tampa. I also want to issue a special welcome to our international SOF teammates who are our guests for the 2018 International Special Operations Forces. We have almost 70 different countries represented here today. We've spent the last 2 days meeting with our compatriots from those countries. Our focus at ISOF this year is interoperability, certainly a topic that's apropos to this conference. Our international partners are critical to our success around the globe. In an increasing number of operations and locations, we are working alongside our international partners at unprecedented levels of integration toward our common objectives. Tomorrow, you will have the special privilege of observing SOF operators from 7 of our partner nations as they join our U.S. Special Operations Force units in a capabilities demonstration right outside of here in downtown Tampa. From all of our SOCOM team, we are very thankful to have so many teammates join us for this event. I'd like to thank NDIA President Hawk Carlisle, NDIA Chief of Staff Jim Boozer, my former wingman there at 1st Armored Division, and the SOFIC team for putting this week's events together. A warm welcome and special thanks to the Honorable Ellen Lord for her willingness to be our SOFIC keynote speaker tomorrow and for her steadfast support to SOF through the years. I'm sure it's not lost on anyone that events of this size and scope do not just happen. They result from diligent planning and execution in 1,000 big and small ways. So I want to offer my sincere appreciation to the management and staff of the Tampa Convention Center and all our attendees, many of whom traveled great distances to join us today. The purpose behind this extraordinary event we call SOFIC is to bring together stakeholders in the special operations enterprise from military, government, academia, and industry to discuss and drive solutions to today's hardest problems and to explore the current and future trends of technology and industry for future challenges. This week is an opportunity to reflect on the progress we have made so far and to consider the next phase in our relentless pursuit of excellence in special operations. As we assemble here today, there are approximately 9,000 U.S. Special Operations Forces deployed across 90 countries, conducting the entire range of special operations activities across the spectrum of conflict. Fully 75% of those activities, or those organizations rather, are conducting operations left of bang or left of crisis, building partner capability, reducing risk of open conflict, and responding quickly to emerging crises that threaten wider instability. In support of these operations, USSOCOM's charter assigns us service-like responsibilities to provide special operations peculiar equipment and services to support all of these far-flung efforts. In today's increasingly complex global security environment, characterized by overt and hidden challenges to a stable and open international order, there is an almost insatiable demand for Special Operations Forces' unique capabilities across the spectrum of global relationships, from peaceful cooperation through competition short of armed conflict to major combat operations. That speaks volumes about our tremendous Special Operations Force organizations. But U.S. Special Operations Forces rarely work alone in this mission space. We are conducting our activities in close coordination with conventional forces, our interagency colleagues, and international partners. And because the application of military power is only one element of an effective solution to our security challenges, we work closely with diplomatic, intelligence, and industry partners to bring all the elements of national power to bear on our mission objectives. In and among all of these activities, we appreciate the fact that we are the beneficiaries of a remarkable acquisitions enterprise that connects our operational formations with a robust segment of our innovative and productive free market. We cannot sustain a force of over 9,000 personnel in 90 countries without the products and services that you deliver to us daily. Industry teammates are an inseparable part of our enterprise and demonstrate the fifth soft truth that most special operations require non-soft support. We are in this together. SOCOM cannot achieve its mission without you. This year we celebrated SOCOM's 31st birthday, the 31st anniversary since our creation by Congress. For 21 of those years, we have executed this industry conference. As we consider our history, including the past 17 years of continuous combat, we acknowledge that SOF's unique material and service requirements were part of the original intent behind the establishment of a Special Operations Command. Our close and active partnership with industry is part of our rich legacy. Each time we host SOFIC, our intent is to walk away smarter and more integrated in our approach to solving the pressing problems of our SOF men and women. For the challenges our force will face in emerging operating environment, SOF will require an array of systems that will increase our lethality, maneuverability, and survivability. Our operators will continue to require body armor, ballistic helmet systems, and communications gear of a quality that will exceed our adversaries. We will continue to need lighter, farther ranging, and more accurate weapons. These are bedrock requirements for the type of work we do in SOF. The future battlefield will, however, require more from our enterprise than these. In an increasingly data-driven, networked, miniaturized, automated world where goods, information, and people move across the globe at a more furious pace, none of us can afford to ignore the implications on our operations. A SOF operator, and by operator I mean any of our teammates executing tasks under the conditions we work in, be it direct action or logistics or information operations, is faced with an increasingly difficult task of making more and more accurate and timely decisions than ever before. At the same time, they are operating at the edge of communications and logistics networks plagued with bandwidth and signature constraints. Our challenge, the one we share, is developing, testing, and fielding systems that enable us to make those decisions and take those actions at the right time, rapidly, and consistently. Success in our combat development endeavors will be achieved through a persistent application of the integrated product team method, bringing together the operators and the capabilities development experts, those men and women who bear the responsibility of executing the mission, and their teammates with the technical and programmatic expertise to find, acquire, and field solutions that meet program objectives must be forged together into a cohesive effort. The new technological opportunities and challenges ahead will require us to redouble our efforts to make these IPTs efficient and effective. The standard for success in this endeavor is beyond where we are today. Our acquisitions processes, the speed of development, and timeline from conception through deployment in these critical domains are outcycled by the trends and speed in private sector technological development. Our adversaries benefit from the proliferation of these advanced capabilities with immediate availability in the global marketplace at very low cost. When data science, artificial intelligence, automated systems like miniature drones, and secure communications have become commodities available to all, and our operators are simply another set of consumers, we all need to know that we are incurring increasing risks to our force and our mission. ISR is a compelling example. ISR is changing at an indescribably rapid pace. More and better sensors means more data. Our operators have a variety of capable and advanced sensors at their disposal, with handheld devices streaming video feeds from a variety of platforms. The platforms range from hand-deployable UAVs to larger manned and unmanned assets. But we should not be fooled. Our adversaries, and I'm not speaking necessarily of state-sponsored threats, I'm talking about the small startup violent extremist with an advanced technical degree from institutions as prestigious as any of you have attended, or with knowledge and technical training that they have gained from online learning platforms. They have the ability to close the gap because of technology market trends. Commercially available satellite imagery delivered to your personal smartphone is no longer a privileged domain of our forces. In this rapidly evolving environment, for the purposes of future combat development, we should consider the technology and platforms that today's SOF use as legacy systems, already legacy systems, whose sunset is nearly upon us. Incremental improvements to legacy systems will not give us the advantage we need for future successes. Add to that this thought. By the time I complete my tenure at SOCOM next year, I will approve the Program of Objective Memorandum that will drive our force development for the next decade. In this POM, we will address our future fixed-wing and rotary-wing requirements. We will lay out our path forward on surface and subsurface mobility and ground mobility. We will define our investments in SOF-specific space and cyber programs, precision weapons, and cutting-edge communications networks. Our decisions and discussions today, the results from forums at SOFIC, will be a major factor in what our forces fight with and what technologies they will use for years to come. We are challenged together to make decisions of this import while facing a more rapid cycle of technological advancement. This must be accomplished by new and more effective ways of doing business. We, once again, I mean all of us here together, have an opportunity this week to begin that turn towards the future. As we move forward, we must keep in mind that while the specific requirements may originate within the SOF enterprise, the benefits to the broader joint force and our international partners are significant. I believe we've debunked the myth that SOF acquisition is a niche activity, not exportable and not scalable. SOCOM contributes consistently to combat development initiatives among the services, partnering with them to ensure that our successes are shared. Original SOF development of mobility, precision weapons, aviation, command and control systems, and tactical communications are just a few examples of how we contribute to the overall lethality of the joint force. We know that our coalition efforts are reinforced and interoperability is increased by our ability to share our innovation platforms and technological expertise. SOCOM will remain a committed partner in these endeavors, and we're eager to bring our best efforts to the benefit of all for our teammates. While we work to develop and field capabilities to meet SOF-specific needs of our force, within SOCOM, we intend to refocus our efforts, enabling and reinforcing our primary weapon system and platform, our operator. Slide, please. In 2003, in the wake of a successful Special Operations Mission exercise, a young Special Mission Unit operator challenged the commander of JSOC at the time, General Stan McChrystal, to empower him to the degree required. In fact, he said quite boldly, "I've got it on actions on the objective. You need to make sure I'm successful getting there and dominating the environment that entails." This slide depicted in 2003, I would offer, was one of the most prescient visions of what we are now calling hyper-enabled operator as we go forward. You'll notice at the time, in the upper side of the slide, he showed one UAV, just in the off chance we might ever see a Predator or a Reaper that weren't even in existence at the time. But we had our own ability to conduct sensor-to-shooter operations, and this operator demanded that it all be provided to him on a local access network on a 3x3 display on his wrist. Arguably, that operator, Chuck Gary, wounded severely in combat later on and still part of our formation, saw the future much ahead of the rest of us and set the stage for what we are to consider today. This is not just a SOF problem. Very recently, I visited the New York City Police Department. And as I sat there in their fusion cell and watched the city come to life that morning, obviously the city never sleeps, but there are some lulls, but we watched their common operation picture, as we would call it, light up with various incidents around the city. We discussed how they deal with a similar security challenge. They too have to deal with a land, maritime, air, and cyber domain as they try to safeguard that city-state called New York. They have gone to extraordinary pains to group and mass as much data as possible left of bang for their police operators, their policemen on the watch. They have also provided an interface in the form of a common phone system to link every one of their 38,000 police on the beat. Where they have not yet gone sufficiently, and they acknowledged it, and it's an area that we certainly plan to follow suit, is leveraging that data, all that information they have left to bang. Every license plate that comes into New York City, gunshot fire indicators, acoustic sensors throughout the city, the historical record of incidents throughout the time and to the places that these officers may be responding to. All that data is assembled, but it's not enabled by any sort of extensive machine learning approach, nor any crowdsourcing approach. And they acknowledge they have to get there. I think, again, a shared equity. We had a follow-on fascinating conversation about how they're integrating or not with helmet cams and body cams and things that we are already enabling with forward machine learning capabilities that will allow an operator or an officer to see what they can't see in a crowded room such as this instantaneously, dependent on the machine learning approach. Again, these are shared approaches that we must embrace going together forward. This is the direction SOCOM needs to move. We need to take the massive amount of data that we swim in, and through man-machine teaming, provide the right information with the right slice of bandwidth at the lowest signature possible to enable the operator to sense, make sense, and act. It is not lost to me that the realization of such a system will rest on a complex and intricate fabric of disparate disciplines and technologies woven together to make this work. But a stroll through these exhibit halls tells me that we have the right data scientists, the programmers, the hardware engineers, the cognitive psychologists, and program managers and integrators that we need to succeed. I challenge those of you gathered here today to use this venue to its fullest. Take advantage of our innovative showcase events. Challenge our assumptions as we inspect the best of industry's wares. SOCOM has an impressive track record as an innovative force that leverages emerging technology to improve our capabilities. We recognize that no one company, university, or person has all of the answers to our most difficult technological challenges. Let us continually strive together to create new relationships across industry, academia, the government, and other partners using venues like SOFIC and our SOFWorks platform to ensure we have the right relationships to answer those challenges. Ultimately, the ability to introduce new capabilities to SOF at a rate that outpaces our adversaries will rely heavily on our collective efforts. Change is hard, but it is always preferable to irrelevance or at worst defeat. I've challenged our SOCOM team to identify and eliminate waste in our processes, streamline bureaucracy, and be relentless in responding to the operator's needs. I will close with a final word of encouragement to remember why we're all here. As you walk through the exhibits and displays, which I encourage you all to do, and as you have conversations amongst yourselves about these issues, about the issues I've laid out here, and which will continue to be unpacked throughout this week, let's remember to maintain our laser focus on why we are here, the success of the Special Operations Force operator. Thank you.